Hello guys, Death88 here. I have decided to join YouTube. Have no experience with this, don't really know how this is gonna go. But I've decided to make videos. I chose a game first. I guess we're gonna do a Let's Play, so we'll call this Death88 Let's Play OpenTTD. So yeah, let's get right into it. Now I have played this game a little bit before, so it will be familiar to me, and I'll sort of try and explain everything as I go about it. So the first thing I usually try and do, as with any game, we have to change the name of our company. So our company name will be Death88 Transport. And if we choose color, orange is okay, but red is better. Red is always better. Alright, so now if we look at the face of the president, looks fine. And now it's time to build stuff. So usually what I try and do is we try and at least I try to do raw resources first. So usually I try and pick out a power plant, and then I also try to pick out a coal mine with that too. And usually it's better to pick out the stuff that isn't by farm fields, because then it costs a lot less to put stuff there. And this will work for now. And then, oh no, we need another station right on down here. Alright, that gotta work right there. I guess we can do steel off that at some point. So now the first thing you have to do is connect these two stations. Alright, so usually, that's not what I want to do. Usually I try and make these entry platforms first, and that just shows me sort of generally where we're going to take the trains. Then I usually make them about 8 long. That just allows a full train to essentially sit in there normally. And then, yeah, that will be that one. And then we'll have this guy here. He'll probably shoot out a little bit, come back here. And then I always add the end here. I have one space because it makes it, it seems to work a little bit better. And then we'll connect all 3 of these, get rid of all the stuff we don't need, such as that, and then we should be good. Alright, so now that we have that settled, we will run this guy down this way. And, oh, there's a river. So usually what we do with rivers is sometimes we'll bulldoze them, but this time around we'll just go right over it. The other thing we're going to want to do, we're going to want to borrow all the money we can. So we're going to borrow $500,000, or euros actually. And then occasionally these cities get in the way, so I try and just go around them real quick, like so. And that industry will be in the way. So sometimes you have to go pretty far to get stuff to not be in your way. And then that'll eventually run into the way. Here's that. And then we can start running this guy. Now what I don't like to do is I usually like to try and build land bridges across these eventually, but we don't have the money right now, so we're going to just go ahead and build around it. Alright, now I can see the two that we're trying to connect. We'll run it into here. We'll run you like this. Like this. We'll equalize that out. Then there we go. And then we get rid of all this other train track down here. Now it is a lot more expensive to develop on farmlands, like if I show you here. So if I build something that's not on a farmland, it costs me about $140 roughly. Build it on a farmland, costs me $601. So it's a lot more to build on a farmland than off a farmland. That being kept in mind, usually I try and avoid the farmlands, but as you can see right through here, it's just all farmland. And then we'll connect the second guy up, and then we'll have it set up so that we have a upline and a downline. And what that allows us to do is essentially run multiple trains at once more efficiently than as if we just had the one line there, because you can't have a train going 2 different ways on one track. Alright, and there is that. Shoot down here. And I try not to make these corners too short because then you slow the trains down a lot, and you don't want that to happen because then that's less money you get, because speed equals money in this game. Alright, there we go. Trim this guy up a little bit. Now we're going to work on the entry point of our track, of our little station here, the input station. So we'll have one coming into here, and then we'll have one here, one there, and then we'll do 3 across here like that. Now what this allows us to do, if we zoom in here, this will be input essentially. So it will run into here, and it'll be here. If there's a train on this track or this track, that'll be red, so no train can go past this point. Same with this guy, these guys, and then same with offloading. So then they'll offload here, and then with that set up there, they'll come out one by one and join on the track, and then I just add another one in there just for a little bit more speed efficiency, and then we should be able to do that. We'll just even that up there a little bit. Then we'll run this all the way back down to where we were, and I'll show you what to do there. And I mean, this game isn't the most interesting, but it's not a bad game. It takes some time to learn it and to know how to do it, but other than that, you should be good to go in it. Sometimes it'll give you notifications there, like you can't build signs out in the middle of a lake, like I was trying to do, so don't do that. And then you just keep running these tracks. So this is a little goofy here. We'll have to fix that here in a little bit. And then we run here, and then here. And I think this is, for the most part, straight until we get back to the station. We'll figure it out here in a second. Yeah, right there. And we'll go back here, do the same thing with this guy. Oh, did we know? Okay, we didn't do that side yet. So we'll start you there. We'll run you that. We'll zoom out a little bit more because it goes faster. And there's that. And I usually try and match the signals up because then it just makes it a lot easier whenever you try and add anything in on the tracks. And then what that allows you to do, I mean, I just sort of, this is how I standardly do it. Sort of a little backwards, depending upon how you look at it, but it works. Alright, and then there's that, and then this guy here. Run you there. If you hold shift down, if you mess up, then it doesn't put a signal down. Alright, so there is that. And now if we go back here, we can finish up this station. So what I do here is one from where the train would enter in the station, I start building an X here, and that allows us to set it up. So this will be the infeed right here. So then trains will come in there, and what these allow you to do is it allows you to exit or enter from either side. So when there's a train here, this will be red, so no train can go in here, and same here. So if both of these are occupied, then this will be red here, the entry block. And then this will be the exit here, so a train can travel down here and come back this way. Alright, so then we have that. We now have that. We should fix this first before we do anything else. And we'll get rid of that. Oh, wrong button. And we'll get rid of those guys. And we're going to try and leave ourselves with about $40,000, $50,000, and that'll be just for the train. And then if we want to, we can probably equalize this all out, but it'll be quite expensive right now. So we're just going to try and essentially equalize this part out. And then, oh, why not go for it? And sometimes they'll get mad at you when you do this because you destroyed all their stuff, but hey, you can rebuild it by putting buses in their cities and making them happy that way. Then also it's a little bit more efficient if you have the turns go at like 90-degree angles, at least from what I've noticed, because then it's a lot easier to try and get stuff to connect up. And then like here, for instance, I can just run you all the way down there. It did cost a bit, and that sometimes you get things like that in there. What we can do now is then if we run it here, we go 3, we can do a 1, and this is the part where the sharp turns don't count, but it's a lot easier to do this than have it not do the sharp turns. And we'll run it back this way. And you can do really, really, really weird fancy designs with this, but I'm just trying to do something basic initially to set it up. And we'll throw that there, throw that here. Throw in there and there. Now we should just be able to run these guys back into here. And that's a lot more efficient than what we had, because otherwise we're going up and down in this area, and it'll slow the train down a lot when you do that. So then that's pretty flat all the way through here. And then we get to this point. So this is actually a pretty flat terrain compared to what I usually encounter. Normally when you get this, it'll give you this thing where you go up like 4 or 5 levels, and you'll come down 4 or 5 levels, and you'll have a lot more rivers to cross. But right now it's looking pretty good. And then we'll just get rid of this guy here too. The other thing you can do are tunnels, but you can only allow one train in at a time, so I prefer to do the terraforming initially. Usually I use the tunnels like when I'm trying to make a exchange station where the train can turn around at. But other than that, we should have almost everything ready to go. The only other thing we'll have to add in, we do have to add train depot in here somewhere. So why not do it right here? So what I usually do with this, I do it like right after a signal, and then I make this about 20 long. And then you can cut it back in, and then you can do the same thing on both sides. And that allows you to service 2 trains at a time. So like if a train just delivered something that needs service, then it can do that. Otherwise, if it's just delivering something and it needs service, then you can allow 1 train at a time to do that too. That's a lot more efficient. And the other thing you can do in here too, which I'll do this here in a minute, sometimes you'll want to reverse their orders. So sometimes I just add in a little kind of part where they essentially can just shoot off of this. So if we do it like here and have him come in here, and sometimes they'll need to use these, but not always. And that's a really sharp turn, so that won't always work. But if we lower the train here, if we lower it here, oh, I did that wrong. Gotta go 1 more. So if I bring that back up, and if I bring this train down, yep, there we go. Then you can build a tunnel. That makes things a lot easier sometimes. And what this will allow us to do, so if we send a train, like if we make a train here and we want to send it that way, we can just have it take these tunnels and go back through. I'll finish this up real quick. And that guy will have to go out an extra 1. And then I just make it so it can go both ways, just in case it comes here and then has to go back around, or something like that. But other than that, should be good. That's looking a lot better now. That'll allow them to turn around and everything. So then I do usually like a 1 there, and it just depends on what you do with it. And normally this will be exit, that'll be entry, that can go both ways. Exit, entry, both ways. And then we don't need those railroad pieces actually. We can highlight this, go here and there, and here and there, and then we have this there. Alright, so now we're actually ready to finally make a train. Get this landscaping thing out of here. So usually I just buy the most expensive one, then we make the train about 4 long, and 4 will show up right there. Now you want to make sure this is selected to coal. Oh, there we go. And then what you do with that, because if it's not selected to coal, it'll go to that station and say, hey, there's not a good I can pick up to deliver, because I think by default it goes to grain usually. And then you set it up to fully load at this station, and then it can empty at this station. And that'll give you the most money because it's the long distance. So the longer the distance, the more money you make. And I'll just make 2 of these right away. So then we have 2 different trains running this one route. And that'll make it quite efficient. We still got 16,000 euros left, and we can't pay any more of the loan back. That's the thing I try and do right away, is pay back the loan, because otherwise you just run out of money, and you'll spend everything. And then, like in this instance, sometimes I do this, is I'll run this too far, and then it'll be like, oh, you're out of money, so I can't go any further in the game. And eventually we'll get to the point where we can borrow millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and we can build up tons of stuff at once. But as you see, we got 2 trains here going. They'll eventually come, they'll get to the station. And it's pretty efficient having this because there's no change in height at all along this, so the trains will pretty much keep the same constant speed on everything except for like the turns and stuff. So that's probably one of the most efficient ways to go about it, because the most efficient way is actually point A to point B. And I may do that at some time, because I may try and just run under the city and then run all the way through here, get rid of that river maybe, and then probably just bring it here, shoot it over, and bring it down. That'll be for later though. And we'll look at the first train here. So we got 1 train, so we got both the trains in here. So this one's red, so they both can exit, but no one can enter, and then no one can enter here. Alright, and if we just speed this up a little bit, they'll go a little bit faster. Didn't choose the greatest of stations initially because it doesn't make a lot, but it'll start making a lot once we start delivering everything. And then the train will get going. Don't worry if you don't go negative initially if you have a couple of trains, because usually you want to spend about to where you're out of money, because then at that point you'll have everything you need to essentially make money. See, like right now I'm losing money like every couple of days. So we'll just run this pretty fast, and we'll follow the train here. And then we'll come back to the station here. And you see how the speed there, it just stays constant for the most part until it hits the turns. Hits 128 kilometers per hour. So that's not too bad. Then when it comes into the station here, we're going to slow it down. We're going to see how much money we made. Alright, so it's going to come in. And then the funny part is it just sort of stops out of nowhere. And then it'll notify us that we made the first train delivered, or first train got here, and then it's about $46,000 per train load, which isn't bad. It's actually pretty good starting out. And then this guy's already going, so we're going to add a 3rd train on there just in case, and then that'll cover essentially the bare minimum. So then we'll have all these guys constantly run, and they will break down, so they will come get maintenance, and usually it's probably going to be about every trip. So at this point the trains are about fast enough to make a trip every year or so, roughly. And then this guy will load back up, and they also do have a rating system in here. So essentially, the better rating you have, the more supplies you get per month from the station. So usually, I try and keep that rating really high, and the way you do that is you constantly don't have stuff waiting there for it to be picked up, and you don't have trains constantly waiting to be loaded there. And that just seems to be the most efficient way to go about it, because then you can make tons of money. Now the other thing we'll want to look into here eventually is trying to find a couple other coal stations in here, or coal mines, and I'm not seeing any that are close at all. This looks like the closest one here, so that's a bit of a trek. I might just run another trek to there. Oh, there's one up here too, and we can just actually run this to this main station here, and then that'll also help us too. And then we'll also repay the loan. We'll repay it till about $300,000, and then we'll do something else. And we'll wait for this train to load here. Alright, well, it's been about roughly 20 minutes, so I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you guys for watching. Like the video, subscribe, comment, anything. I'm looking for new ideas as to what else to do other than just this game. And it can be pretty much anything. Game you suggest, something I should do in real life, maybe some other skill you want to see. I have no idea. But other than that, just leave comments in the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.